Warren Buffett once bragged that he pays less in taxes than his secretary. Trump said the same thing. Robert Kiyosaki tells you that the rich don't pay taxes at all. But what you need to understand is they're not cheating, right? They're not breaking the law. They're using the system exactly as it was designed. And recently, that system was changed to make it work even better. Now, we can flip those very same rules into what I call a perpetual Bitcoin machine, a system that takes the money you would have sent to the IRS and instead turns it into Bitcoin year after year after year without you having to spend a single extra dollar out of your pocket. In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain on how this works, why the government actually wants you to do it, and the exact steps to start building your own machine today. So let's go. All right, so let's start with the obvious. If you have income from anywhere, you owe taxes, right? And that amount changes based off of your income levels. But let's just say for the ease of this video, let's just call it 30%. So if you make 100 grand, you're losing 30,000 right off the top to taxes. Okay, but why is it that you hear things like Warren Buffett saying he pays a lower tax rate than his secretary, or Trump paying no taxes, and Kiyosaki straight up telling people the rich don't pay taxes? Okay, well, the thing is, it's true. And a guiding principle that I live my life by is that if someone else can do it, it proves it can be done. So the question that we should all be asking, and I'm going to answer for you, is how? How are they doing it? And then how could I adapt that strategy for my own income tax situation? Now, most people who have a victim mentality, they just believe that the wealthy, they're cheaters, right? They don't pay their fair share or whatever. But of course, that's not true. The government isn't letting anybody off the hook of taxes, especially just because they're rich. So you have to understand, it's not cheating. It's not a loophole like many people think it is, but rather it's the government giving these tax structures to incentivize them to do the things the government wants done. Build housing, start businesses, create jobs, develop infrastructure, all the things the country needs, but the government itself cannot do. So the government incentivizes you and I to go do those things. That's where depreciation comes in. Let me explain this super simple first. If you earn $100,000 in income, normally you would owe taxes on that $100,000. But if you can show the IRS that you also had $100,000 in depreciation, basically that's the wear and tear on assets like real estate or equipment, then basically what you can do is cancel that out dollar for dollar. So now your taxable income, it goes from $100,000 to zero. And that means your tax bill goes from, say, $30,000 or $40,000 down to zero as well. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the thing. Traditionally, you needed to own millions of dollars in assets to get enough depreciation to wipe out the income. That's why the game always felt basically reserved for the ultra wealthy, right? Real estate investors, hedge funds, giant corporations. Take real estate, for example. A rental property is depreciated over 27 and a half years for a house. So if you buy a $1 million property, you could divide it by 27 and a half years and maybe get $30,000 to $40,000 of depreciation back in a year. Now, that's not bad, but if you make $100,000 in income, you're still way short. On top of that, you've got tenants, you've got maintenance, you've got repairs, you've got management headaches, all of that for about a 6 to 7%, maybe an 8% return if everything goes smooth. This is why for decades, only the rich could really play this game, at least at scale, right? They had the capital to buy huge amounts of real estate. They could then take that depreciation and wipe out their taxes. But of course, you and I, we're stuck paying the full bill. But something changed. Now, earlier this year, Trump pushed through his one big beautiful bill, right? The tax bill. Now, among many options that were in there for us to use was one of them that he reinstated, which opened this up for everyone, all right? Not just the ultra wealthy. You and I can now use it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about bonus depreciation. Now, thanks to the Job Act, the OBBB, the one big beautiful bill, you can now accelerate the depreciation. Under today's rules, you don't have to wait decades to claim deductions on shorter life assets. You can take big chunks up front. Now, I'm going to run you through all the math. I'm going to show you how it all breaks down. I want to give you some real world examples. I'll do all that in a minute. But before I do, I just want to say, I want to make this clear. This doesn't just apply to real estate, okay? It applies to capital equipment. Now, stay with me because this is the unlock that changes everything. When most people think about capital equipment, they think about tractors or machinery or vehicles. And yes, you can use those, right? You can use this rule there. But you could buy, let's say, a $125,000 SUV and take the full write-off in year one and then write off $125,000 of taxable income. But the problem is that SUV, it's a liability, right? It's not making you any money. But what if instead you bought capital equipment that actually produced cash flow? And even better, it stacked Bitcoin for you. Well, that's exactly what Bitcoin miners do, right? These are specialized, high-powered computers that plug into the Bitcoin network and they earn rewards for processing transactions. They literally mine new Bitcoin into existence. And watch how this works. Let's say that you've got $100,000, maybe it's $1 million of taxable income, maybe it's more. Just adjust the math for your own circumstances, all right? Then you would go out and you would buy an equal amount of Bitcoin mining equipment. So I'd buy 100,000 or I'd buy 1 million or whatever. And now, under the renewed bonus depreciation, I can write off the full amount in year one. Boom. My taxable income goes to zero. My tax bill disappears. Now, on $1 million of taxable income, that's about $400,000 that I would have sent to the government, but now I get to keep. $400,000 extra for me. And unlike doing this with depreciating assets like vehicles, right? These Bitcoin miners, they're earning me more Bitcoin. And yes, as I said, you can do this with real estate as well. But instead of collecting a measly 20 to 30% return over, let's say, a 36-month period with rental property, and of course with all the headaches that come with it, my Bitcoin mining machines could produce 200% or 300% over the same 36-month period. And that's with no tenants, no maintenance, and no hassle. And as Bitcoin continues to grow, the long-term compounding, it gets even bigger. 30% compounding, 50% compounding every year, of course, depending on where the price appreciation goes. So not only are you eliminating your tax bill, right? You're keeping that $400,000. You're also building your asset base with the fastest appreciating asset in history at the exact same time. Now remember, you don't have to be a billionaire to do this. Anyone who earns income and understands how to set this up can take advantage of it. All right, that's the beauty of this entire play. It's not a loophole. It's not a trick. It's literally the system. It's written into law. It's designed for the very specific purpose of rewarding people who invest into productive assets. And of course, if you watch my videos, you know that you don't want to just do this once. You want to turn it into an engine. You want to turn it into a machine that runs year after year after year. Okay. So how do we build this machine? Well, the first thing is that we're using depreciation to write off against the income. That's the base strategy, all right? Now, there's many ways to apply that base strategy. It's the core principle. How can we apply it? Now, first off, I don't want to spend $1 and write off $1, okay? That's level one thinking. Because if all you're doing is spending $1 to save $1 in taxes, you're breaking even. And that's nice, but that's not how the ultra wealthy play the game. The ultra wealthy, they want to spend $1 and get $3, $5, or even $10 of tax write-offs. And the way they do it, they use leverage. Let me show you this in real estate terms, because this is how they've been doing it for decades. All right, let's make the numbers real. So let's say that I make $100,000 this year. Option one is I do nothing, right? So I pay the $30,000 in taxes, assuming a 30% rate. I get to keep $70,000 after taxes, all right? Option two, I put $20,000 down on a $100,000 rental property. But just a quick reality check. You don't bonus depreciate the entire package. You only depreciate the building, right? The land doesn't depreciate. And then the building depreciates over 27 and a half years. Now, in order to bring some of that forward, we can do a cost segregation study, and we can carve out the 5-year and the 15-year components. Now, let's say on a small single-family residence, a typical outcome might give you roughly $25,000 of a first-year depreciation, right, on a $100,000 purchase. So let's break all these numbers down. So the taxable income, again, is $100,000. Now, because of the bonus depreciation, we'll write off $25,000. So our taxable income is now $75,000. The taxes owed, again at that 30% number, are now $22,500. So the cash left after taxes is $77,456. But I also own a $100,000 rental property. Okay, that's helpful, right? But on $20,000 down, I only got $24,900 of deductions. So roughly that was about $1.24 for every dollar that I had to spend. Okay, let's compare this to Bitcoin mining. So now if I buy $100,000 of Bitcoin miners, ASIC miners, the IRS treats them as 5-year computer equipment. Okay, that's 100% expensing in year 1. No cost segregation study is even needed. So now I have taxable income of $100,000, right? And I buy $100,000 of Bitcoin mining. That's a perfect match. And I have now $0 of taxable income or $0 of taxes owed. But you might be asking, isn't that still spending $1 to write off $1? Yes, you're absolutely right. In order to get better, we need to use something I talk about often, which is called leverage. All right, here's where leverage turns us from good to just being absolutely insane. If I finance the miners, let's say that I use a business line of credit. Let's say that I apply for some credit cards. I get like a 0% introductory rate for like 12 months, right? I get a HELOC against my house or however you get the loan. My favorite is I can borrow against my existing Bitcoin. But however you get the money, I can borrow against my Bitcoin or the zero down credit card, get the $100,000 and get a $100,000 deduction while using 0 of my own cash. So now for $0 out of pocket, I can write off the entire $100,000 of taxable income. And unlike a house, the miners produce Bitcoin every day. Over a few years, $100,000 of miners could generate $200,000 or $300,000 of Bitcoin, of course, depending on the difficulty and the Bitcoin price. You see the difference? Real estate equals some relief, right? It's pretty good. Lots of friction, but miners, they could wipe out the entire taxable income, right? And I'm getting more Bitcoin. Now, I don't want you just taking my word for it. I actually modeled all this out onto a spreadsheet, and I built it out looking at $1 million miner purchase with all the expenses, all the monthly projections, everything laid out over 36 months. As a matter of fact, let's jump in. Let me show you what I got. All right, so you can see on this spreadsheet right here, I've put the Bitcoin starting price right here. Of course, this can be changed. I'll show you how you can get this model, and you can change this. We just hit a new all-time high of 125,000. This is the difficulty start rate as of today. I just updated that. There's additional fees and assumptions that we're taking here. Now, basically what this is showing us is each Bitcoin miner is going to cost us about $4,000. We're going to start as of the 1st of this month. We know the next halving date, the Bitcoin halving date where the supply gets cut in half, is not till 2028. Now, what this is showing us is each month, the amount of Bitcoin we'll mine, so we'll mine about 3.3 Bitcoin. And this is projecting the price will continue going up. The difficulty adjustment will keep going up. And let's just skip to the fun part down here. What we see is that total Bitcoin mined for the month is 0.67, about $86,000 of Bitcoin value mined, minus my expenses of about $44,000, means my net mining proceeds is about $42,000 per month. $42,000 per month. No rental property is going to give you that. And you can see each month, the amount, my net goes up every single month. And at the end, I'm assuming that at the end of 3 years, Bitcoin's end price is $278,000. Now, it may or may not be. I'll show you how to get this model, and you can adjust it for how you see fit. I think that's a pretty conservative number. Now, assuming that, what we're seeing is that over the 36 month, we'll mine 17 Bitcoin for a net profit of $2,325,000 or an ROI of 253%. Now, I don't want to bore you by walking through every single line of this spreadsheet and showing you all the assumptions, but the good news is I'm going to give it to you for free. I'll put a link down in the description down below. You can download it, plug in your own numbers, your own assumptions, and you can see how all this could work out for you if you want to do something like this. All right, plug in your income, plug in your own miner costs. You can run your own numbers. I'll put the link down in the description below. Grab it so you can see exactly how this works. But before you do, don't grab it yet, because we're not even close to being done yet, because it gets actually way better than this. So now that we've got the machine, we want to turn this into a perpetual Bitcoin machine. All right. So we're going to stitch all this together. So let's think about this. Year one, I expense the miners, right? So I get a $100,000 deduction, wipe out the taxes, and then with the money I saved on taxes, I can buy more Bitcoin. But here's the good part. Year number two, I can borrow against the Bitcoin I just mined. I don't need to sell the Bitcoin, so there's no taxable gain on the Bitcoin. I just borrow against it so I can buy another round of miners and expense it again and wipe out taxes again. Year three, same thing. I borrow against the newly mined Bitcoin, don't pay tax on the gain, and then I buy more Bitcoin miners and wipe out my taxable gain. Each cycle, miners create more Bitcoin, which you can borrow against. You can buy more miners, which cancels out more of your income. That's why I call it the Perpetual Bitcoin Machine. Now, real estate investors, they've been playing versions of this for decades, but the difference is now is that the return profile and the simplicity of this, instead of a 6 or 8% return, a cash on cash return, and tenant headaches and maintenance and all those things, now you're turning your biggest annual expense, your tax bill, into Bitcoin, the hardest asset on earth, with no tenants and no toilets and no 2 a.m. calls. And the best part about all this, it's the system as written. The government wants you to invest into productive assets. You're just choosing a more productive asset. And if we zoom out, right, and we look at the much bigger picture here, what does all this really mean for us? Well, it means that instead of handing over a third of your income to the government every year, you're redirecting that money into an asset that's actually working for you. Now, you've taken your biggest expense in life, your taxes, and you turned it into your biggest wealth building tool. Now, after a few years of running this, you're not just saving taxes, you're building your Bitcoin asset base that compounds every year. Instead of working the first 3 to 4 months every year for the government, now you're working the first 3 to 4 months for yourself, building a bigger position in the hardest money in history. That's the real transformation here. You stop being a passive taxpayer, just hoping the system doesn't crush you, and you start playing the same game that the wealthy play. You're not just keeping more of what you earn, you're forcing the government to subsidize your Bitcoin stack. Okay, so here's the choice. 1, keep handing 30 to 40% of your income to the government every year. Or 2, use their rules they put in place and build your own perpetual Bitcoin machine, and then force the government to subsidize your Bitcoin assets. Now, if you want to learn more about the details of how this works, which companies I work with to run this hosted Bitcoin mining program so I don't have to do it myself, who and how I borrow against my Bitcoin, check out the link in the description down below. I'm going to give you this spreadsheet. You can model it out for yourself. I'll give you the full step-by-step walkthrough, the vendors I use, the companies I work with. But remember, to get this to work for 2025, you're going to need to do this probably in the next 30 to 45 days. And if not, no worries. Just pay the full tax bill for this year, and then you can do it next year. And if you want to know where I see Bitcoin's price heading in 2030, 2040, and 2050, and all the math breaking it all down, then you should go watch this video right here titled The Bitcoin Blueprint, Why 1 Million is Bearish, and I'll see you over there.